Manifesto of Resilience, the Stoic Heart. In this era of touted transparency, where vulnerability is equated with bravery, there lurks a silent battle over the emotional lives of men. This document aims not merely to explore but to champion a robust fortitude that could mistakenly be seen as a relic in the age of openness. Consider the notion that not everything faced can be changed, but nothing can change unless it is faced. This wisdom urges us to confront the dual expectations placed on men, to display unwavering strength and simultaneously to reveal their most guarded weaknesses. Herein, we argue for the virtue of discernment in emotional expression, recognizing the valor in both reserve and revelation. Solitude in a man's emotional world can be as profound as it is misunderstood. Imagine a man, isolated amidst a chorus of voices, each preaching the gospel of openness. Yet, within this cacophony, deeper truth whispers that solitude and the stoicism it fosters are not weaknesses but embodiments of considerable inner strength. The layers of personal and societal masks worn in adversity deserve scrutiny. These masks, often misread as barriers to emotional connection, are in fact necessary defenses against a world too ready to misjudge silence for indifference and stoicism for heartlessness. Endurance and overcoming are themes that resonate deeply, whether in facing literal monsters or metaphorical ones like prejudice, self-doubt, and societal expectations. Modern men, too, confront monsters. These aren't creatures of the night but spectral expectations of a society that both demands strength and chastises its display. This manifesto calls for a nuanced appreciation of the so-called ethos of resilience. To those who feel alone in the crowd, your solitude is neither a fault nor a failure, but a testament to your path through the storm. Navigate the dark woods with the knowledge that the way out lies straight through the heart of darkness. Your story, complex and layered, deserves to be told with the same richness and depth, not reduced to simple dichotomies of vulnerability or invincibility. As old champions, our role transcends mere endurance. We guide by example. Rekindling the spirit of these champions through our actions doesn't mean rejecting vulnerability but balancing it with our inherent resilience. We must be steadfast, yet allow the gentler sides of our nature to emerge in times of peace. In forging a new path for the modern man, let us blend strength with sensitivity, embodying both the rock's unyielding nature and the river's adaptability. This is a call to embrace a nuanced understanding of strength where true resilience lies in the courage to be both formidable and open-hearted, to navigate the complexities of modern expectations with wisdom. Let this manifesto serve as a beacon, guiding toward a future where men can honor their depth of spirit and emotional complexity, crafting a legacy marked by both resilience and humanity. This revised version seeks to immerse you in the ethos of the narrative, letting the philosophies of the authors inform the style and content without directly referencing them, creating a more integrated and authentic voice. To craft a manifesto in line with your initial thoughts on resilience and the masculine condition, and geared towards an adult audience, let's delve deeper into the concepts of emotional solitude and resilience, framing them within a more provocative and direct narrative. The Stoic Code, a manifesto for the modern man. In this age of unabashed openness, we are told that real strength lies in vulnerability, in laying bare one's soul. We are encouraged to shatter our shields and expose our weaknesses to the world. Yet, this manifesto argues the contrary for the modern man. There is a profound strength in preserving one's inner fortress, in recognizing that solitude and emotional resilience is not a sign of weakness, but a bastion of undying strength. Imagine a man parched and isolated in the desert of his own trials, surrounded by mirages of sympathy that vanish upon approach. He learns quickly that in the vast wilderness of life, his true companion is his resilience. This is not a call to reject compassion, but a rallying cry to acknowledge that the first shoulder a man must lean on is his own. And the echoes of laughter and whispers, a man might share a moment of vulnerability with a lover or friend, believing in the sanctity of trust. Yet, too often these confessions, these moments of raw truth, are turned against him. They become weapons in whispered gossip or, worse, in mockery. Thus, we argue that a man must navigate his disclosures with the precision of a chess master, aware that every move could tip the balance of perception. It is a treacherous path to tread, where a man can be both the hero and the villain in his own story, depending on the audience. This manifesto declares that to embody the ethos of the Stoic, the stud life is not to become unfeeling stone, but to be the master of one's emotions, recognizing when to reveal and when to conceal. To the men who stand in the eye of the storm, your quiet does not echo emptiness but whispers wisdom. You are the architects of solutions, the unsung heroes who weather not just the tempests of nature but of hearts and minds. Be the rock amidst the raging seas, unyielding and proud. We're the remnant lineage of champions, the bearers of a torch that burns with the fierce light of self-reliance and inner strength. Let us not be swayed by the siren calls that beckon us to dismantle our defenses and lay open our sanctuaries for fleeting approval. In closing, this manifesto does not disdain the tender-hearted or the open-souled, rather, it champions the choice of strategic vulnerability. We must navigate our lives not as emotional recluses but as warriors who know when to guard and when to guide, when to stand alone in the crowd, and when to join the chorus. To the modern man, your strength is your legacy, crafted not from the praises sung by others, but from the quiet confidence that comes from knowing your own worth and wielding your vulnerabilities not as weaknesses but as strategic reserves in the complex game of life in the heart of our cities and the silence of our bedrooms. Men are often caught between an anvil and a hammer, the expectation to be both invulnerable and open, mighty and meek. It is within this paradox that our manifesto seeks not just understanding, but also a guide for navigation. We observe the world around us, where every emotional outburst and every restrained whisper paints a picture of who we are, or, more critically, who we are perceived to be. The modern discourse tells us that to be emotionally expressive is to be liberated, yet it often forgets that not all environments are conducive to such freedom. Like warriors in a field, we must choose our battles wisely, knowing when to don our armor and when to lay down our arms. We proclaim that the strength of a man is not diminished by his tears, nor is his fortitude solely defined by his silence. However, the wise man knows that the eyes which witness his vulnerability may not always view it through a lens of compassion but might refract it through prisms of opportunity and exploitation. Therefore, he must tread with caution, for the world is as unforgiving as it is forgetful of men's struggles. In our relationships, whether they be forged in the fires of romance or the cool waters of friendship, the principles of this manifesto guide us. To share one's soul is an act of trust, profoundly significant and sacred. Yet, we recognize the harsh truth that not every confidant holds our confessions with reverence. Information, especially that of personal fragility, can and has been weaponized, turned into barbs that wound at the most unexpected times. Thus, to embrace the stud life is to understand that resilience is not about never yielding but knowing when and to whom it is safe to yield. It is a dance between strength and flexibility, a performance where every step, every turn holds weight and consequence. The champions of old knew this well. They stood tall not because they were unassailable but because they knew when to reveal their humanity and when to cloak it in mystery. Their legacy was not just in their victories but in their ability to persist through the dualities of life, to remain steadfast when the world expected them to crumble and to be gentle when such gentleness was a rare commodity. As we stride forward, let this manifesto be a torch in the darkness, a beacon for those who feel the weight of expectation crushing them into silence. Let it be a declaration that while we strive to be rocks, steadfast and sure, we are also the river flowing with quiet strength, carving canyons through the landscapes of our lives with persistent, relentless grace. To the modern man reading this, recognize your worth and your complexity. You are more than the sum of your emotions and your restraints. You are a mosaic of strength and vulnerability, each piece as essential as the next in the grand design of your humanity.